The scorching sun beat down mercilessly on the dusty village road, dust swirling with every footstep. A gentle breeze carried the scent of wildflowers and earth. But something else lingered in the air, a quiet tension, a fragile hope hanging by a thread. Have you ever wondered how a single act of kindness can change the course of someone's life forever? This is the story of Meera, a simple village girl whose courage and heart saved a man nobody expected, the kind of man who holds power beyond imagination. And what happened next? It will shock you. Meera's world was small but beautiful. Nestled between rolling green hills and meandering streams, her village thrived on tradition, community, and hard work. Every morning she woke before dawn to help her mother tend the fields and care for the family's goats. Life wasn't easy. Money was tight and dreams often felt like distant stars, bright but unreachable. Yet Meera carried something priceless, kindness in her eyes and strength in her spirit. One late afternoon, as she walked along the edge of the forest gathering herbs, a strange noise shattered the quiet, the distant roar of an engine faltering. Curious and worried, Meera hurried toward the sound. Her heart pounded when she spotted a small plane, smoke trailing from its engine, spiraling toward the ground like a wounded bird. Without hesitation, she ran to the crash site just as the plane skidded to a stop near the edge of a clearing. The pilot, slumped over the controls, was barely conscious. His uniform was torn and stained with dirt and blood. Meera's breath caught in her throat. She could see the fear in his eyes, the desperate fight for survival. "Please," he whispered hoarsely. "Help me." And in that moment, Meera's world changed. Despite her fear, Meera moved quickly, using what little knowledge she had from village healers. She tore a strip from her shawl, carefully bandaged his wounds, and offered him water from her flask. She talked softly, trying to keep him awake, her voice steady even as her hands trembled. Around them, the forest seemed to hold its breath, waiting. The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows, but Meera refused to leave. Hours passed, and the pilot's breathing steadied. Meera stayed by his side, refusing to believe this stranger was just some outsider. There was something in his eyes, a kindness buried beneath exhaustion, that mirrored her own, yet she had no idea who he really was. The next morning, as the village began to stir, a black SUV rolled onto the dirt road, dust kicking up in its wake. Out stepped a man in a sharp suit, eyes scanning the scene with disbelief. This was Alexander Reed, a billionaire CEO known worldwide for his ruthless business tactics and luxurious lifestyle. But today, he was just a man humbled by the kindness of a stranger. News had spread of the crash, and the villagers gathered, whispering among themselves, eyes wide with curiosity. When Alexander approached Meera, kneeling down to meet her gaze, something shifted. "You saved my life," he said quietly, his voice stripped of all pretense. "I don't know how to thank you." Meera, ever modest, shrugged, cheeks flushed. "Anyone would have done the same," she replied simply. But Alexander knew better. In his world of power and profit, kindness was rare, almost foreign. Here, in this quiet village, he had found something he'd never expected. Over the next days, Alexander stayed in the village, slowly regaining strength. He watched Meera move through her daily life with grace and resilience. How she helped her neighbors, how she never asked for anything in return, how her laughter could brighten even the darkest day. Each act of kindness she extended, whether a helping hand or a warm smile, seemed to ripple outward, touching everyone around her. One afternoon, as Meera helped Alexander build a small garden behind her home, he paused. "You know, in my world, people care about money, status, and power. But here I see something I forgot existed. Hope." Meera looked up, surprised. "Hope?" she asked. "Yes," he smiled. "Hope that kindness can change things, that people like you can make a real difference." Then came the unexpected. Alexander, moved beyond words, announced he wanted to give back, not just to Meera but to the entire village. He pledged to fund a new school, a clinic, and clean water for everyone. The villagers were stunned. What billionaire would care so deeply for a place so far removed from the city's glitter? But Alexander was not just any billionaire. He had been transformed by Meera's simple yet profound kindness. And in return, he offered more than money. He offered respect, dignity, and a chance for a brighter future. As the sun set on that day, Meera stood beside Alexander, feeling a swell of pride and hope. She had saved a life, but in doing so, her own life was forever changed. Can you imagine how that must have felt? To go from a quiet village girl to the spark of a movement that would uplift an entire community? Before we wrap up, think about this. Kindness, even the smallest gesture, holds the power to break down walls and change destinies. Meera's story reminds us all, no matter who you are or where you come from, that hope and compassion can light the darkest paths. If this story touched your heart, please like and share it. Comment below with a kindness story from your own life. Let's inspire each other. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell because there's another amazing story coming soon that you won't want to miss. Remember, sometimes all it takes is one kind act to change the world, starting with you.